पार हो रहा था ना, जैसे 4 तारीख आ रही है, 1 तारीख 2 तारीख, आई वाज स्टार्टेड फीलिंग लाइक फियर ऑफ रिजेक्शन। ये बहुत ही खराब चीज
होता है भाई लोग। तो इसको हटा दो। People took the CV literally like CV है मतलब कंट्रोल सी मार। एक जो केस में कि यार कंट्रोल सी तो ओके है, कम से कम मेरा पेरेंट्स नेम तो चेंज कर लेता। I just wanted to share this. One of my junior, right, again campus placement, the same question being asked by HR. Why this company? Okay. So what answer did he give? Yeah, I like your company and I can die for your company. Exactly. That was the statement. They like the energy level of that guy, right? So they immediately hired him. Yeah. Welcome everyone to our YouTube channel again, and thanks for that. And today you are watching another episode of Interview with Selected Candidate, and today we have Rohit Agrawal. And so Rohit, basically he is working in the Bosch, Robert Bosch, as in associate software engineer.
Yeah.
Right now. Okay, yeah. So today he's gonna share his interview experience with us. So I will not waste much time over here, and I'll straightforward. I'll go to Rohit.
Myself, Rohit Kumar Agarwal, and I'm basically born and brought up from West Bengal. You will tell Asansol is a place in West Bengal, like some 200 kilometers from Kolkata.
Okay.
My college was in Darjeeling area in Jalpaiguri. The name of the college is Jalpaiguri Common Engineering College.
So can you just tell a little bit more about your college experience first?
Yeah.
Just because I think you got selected in Robert Bosch through campus placement, right?
Yeah.
So I think just before that, if you can just brief about your college and how was it your college life?
Fortunately enough, I got a chance in that college. Some 5 to 6 schoolmates, when I did the schooling, they were my college mates also. College mates is okay, second thing, but my roommates, department mates, I first time came from my house, like I left my house and 600 kilometers far, but I never felt that I am somewhere left alone.
Yeah, just always of your friends.
Always felt like it's like family only. This was the major thing. Secondly, the atmosphere.
It was near to Darjeeling, by the way. So
all the viewers which you are seeing, please, if you sometimes get a chance, please visit the place.
Nice.
Darjeeling, Sikkim.
So okay, now tell about how was your campus placement experience? How was it?
So I will start with a very short story sort of thing. 2 years back, it was my birthday. On that particular day, we got the notification from the different college that your college is invited for so and so Robert Bosch Engineering College drive on the so and so date. So you please send your students for this drive.
Robert Bosch didn't come to your campus directly.
No.
They came to some different colleges.
Correct.
And that college basically invited your colleges,
Correct.
the student of your colleges.
Yeah,
please
correct.
come and attend that interview. Is it?
So not only my college was invited, I will tell some 7 to 8 colleges were invited.
So how many total people were there for this aptitude test?
I can tell some 600 plus.
So out of 600, then how many qualified for the next round?
Out of 600, some 130 plus.
Face-to-face round?
Face to face.
So can you just elaborate a little bit about your aptitude test? So how was it? How many questions they have asked?
Yeah,
just
sure. So if I start, so MCAT was the mediator, second party who took the aptitude on behalf of Robert Bosch.
Okay.
4 sections were there in aptitude, online examination as for sure. So section A was a quantitative.
Okay.
It was very basic. Like I guess everyone has gone through these books of like R.S. Agarwal, the aptitude books, and Arun Sharma. But I don't guess there was some complexity in those questions.
Okay.
Like very straightforward, but the time constraint. Quantitative aptitude, 16 questions in total, and the time limit was at 14 minutes.
Per question, a little less than 1 minute.
Yeah. One thing was there, like if you're opting for one question, and if you ABC, there are 4 options for it's a multiple choice questions round. Like if you click for D or any answer, then you cannot go back to that previous question. Like if you have attempted question 6,
then that's all.
That's all.
Okay, so what if I don't know any answer for that particular question?
Okay.
Let's say I wanted to skip it.
Yeah,
and
you can skip.
And so later on, can I go back and attempt that question again? So irrespective of you are giving answer or not, if you're skipping any questions, you cannot go back.
No, you cannot go back. Like the thing is that if you are skipping any question, for sure negative marking will not be applicable.
Okay.
For each and every question, there is a negative marking. Section A is done. You will be getting some small time between, like a hold time between to move from one section to the other.
Okay.
It's just 5 minutes sort of.
Coffee break time.
Not break, you will tell. In that same position you will be sitting. They'll ask you, do you require that time, or you can just start from here.
Okay.
Second round was this one, verbal. English verbal round. It was the English verbal. The same. It was some 18 questions were there. No, sorry, it was 22 questions. 22 questions were there, and the time limit was 18 minutes.
Okay. So was it also objective type question?
Yeah.
Or narration kind of things they have given to you?
They have given paragraphs.
Paragraphs, and then did he ask you to write up?
No.
No. Nothing.
It was totally multiple choice question.
Multiple choice question. Okay.
Section 3 was comprising of this reasoning, the general reasoning and some sort of computer awareness question. The reasoning questions were, I will not be telling that it was very easy sort of, it was a bit tricky.
Okay.
And the time, as I told you, the time constraint remains forever. One of the website I just want to mention, indiabix.com is there. Like you can refer that website for the preparation.
Indiabix.
Indiabix. I can spell it out. India, I-N-D-I-A, Indiabix, B-I-X.com.
It's a Bix. Sorry, Indiabix.com.
Indiabix.com. It is a good website if I tell you. If you are preparing for any of the interviews, not only Robert Bosch, if you are preparing, so it's a very good website.
And that is only for the aptitude?
No.
Any kind of questions?
Yeah. You can refer even the aptitude, means the core part also, like the departmental subjects.
Okay.
Departmental. Just now I was referring for the aptitude round, the common mathematics, this and that. But the departmental core, mechanical, electrical, electronics questions are also there, subject wise.
Oh, nice.
So you can appear for the online test also.
All branches courses are available there almost.
Yeah.
Nice.
There are n number of online tests. That's also for free. So that will build, and that's also same like the time constraints goes on in the background.
Okay.
So you will be getting a demo session type of thing. So aptitudes, the reasoning round was also good, but you should be well versed with it.
Yeah.
But in every round there was a cutoff.
Every section or every
section?
Round? Every section.
Sections. The section 4, which was the main thing, like because all these 3 can be attempted by many of them.
Okay.
If 600 students are appearing, I guess 550 will be attempting all the questions that too correctly in this 3 round, and they will be clearing the cutoff also. Okay. But the 4th round is a deciding factor for shortlisting.
What is that?
Yeah, 4th round is the core departmental round.
Okay.
Like I belong from electronics and communication department. My friends are belonging from computer science engineering, IT, electrical engineering. Okay, so there will be departmental
related questions. Right?
Correct. So I was asked question related to the embedded systems, microprocessors, microcontrollers, digital electronics.
Okay.
These 4 are the major parts. If you are from the computer science or any of the IT backgrounds, you should be well versed with the C programming and the C++.
I am from computer science, so I also can add some points over here. So obviously you should be very good in the operating system, you should be very good in the compiler and networking stuff, and you should be like God in data structure. That is for the sure. Okay. C and C++ is very basic.
Yeah.
See, everyone expects you to at least know about the basic fundamentals of that.
Correct.
Okay.
You should know to code, and they will not ask you like to code something out of the world.
Yeah, that is actually true. Anyway, so yeah, how long it took the entire process?
Exactly, if I can remember, it was some 1 hour 15 minutes, I guess. I don't exactly remember, but yeah, it was not more than that.
Okay. Did you get the result immediately, or did they ask you to wait for some couple of days?
No. It was not an immediate results. On the second day, the aptitude results were out. So from our college, some 32 students were invited for the face-to-face round. So they were invited on 4th of September. Like my aptitude results came on 29th of August, and they called us for the face-to-face round on 4th of September. So we were having only 3 to 4 days time. जैसे दिन पार हो रहा था ना, जैसे 4 तारीख आ रही है, 1 तारीख, 2 तारीख, I was started feeling like anxiety तो था ही, पर एक होता है ना कि डर.
So that is a normal scenario. Like whenever you go for any interview, like for the face-to-face round, so you'll have that kind of fear factor, like which kind of question they're gonna ask,
correct.
Whether I'm preparing well or not, right?
Yeah, same thing. Am I on the same correct track or not? Am I deviated or not?
Yes.
And that too, like a fear of rejection. ये बहुत ही खराब चीज
होता है भाई लोग. तो इसको हटा दो.
Really, we should accept also that thing.
Yes. And if you're going for the interview, just think that okay, if not that company, then some better company, right? Don't think that okay, this is the only company in the world where if you will get rejected, then you will be unemployed for the long time. It's not like that. So don't worry about the rejection.
Correct. As Rajiv told, it's like fear of rejection. Accept the thing which is going to happen, not this, more better version of this.
Yes, exactly. Then can we discuss more about now about your interview around, like what are the questions they had asked you, and if you remember the question, that is well and good, or else you can at least just give a rough idea about which kind of question they had asked you and stuff and all.
First of all, preparation is a great. If you don't prepare, you cannot. Second thing, resume. Should not copy paste, control C, control V, control C, control V from any of your seniors, any of your friends. कि हाँ चलो उसका है तो मैं भी डाल देता हूँ. No. Study each and every point which you have written in the CV. It's a major thing. और I will not tell you कि तुम 4-5 pages or even 2-3 pages का एक CV बना लो.
People took the CV literally, like CV है मतलब control C control V मारो.
It's a common practice nowadays.
Yeah, एक जोक है इसमें कि यार control C control V तो okay है, कम से कम मेरा parents name तो change कर लेता. That also
Date of birth and parents.
Yeah, jokes apart, yeah.
Correctly told, like.
Okay.
So prepare your CV very precise manner. Have some reference. I'll not tell that blindly you start copying or editing your CV by not discussing with any of your. Discuss. Have some reference, but at the end of the day, it's your decision how to make your CV and which points you have to include.
Okay, so what is your personal opinion? Just because I also have seen thousands of resumes in my career, so there I have seen that sometimes people will write their objective as well. What is my objective? But some people don't.
Yeah.
Right. So, but according to you, what is your opinion? Do they have to write the objective or not? Or in the various point also you can say that what are the important things they have to mention.
Correct. If I tell as being because I prepared the CV for a fresher sort of thing, so I was not having any experience, which I want to tell it before only. So I prepared a CV which was very normal, because you can understand like a college time students will be having an average sort of CV. So it was the same. So I will not be exaggerating or even like telling कि मेरा ये था वो था. ठीक था. I also wrote the objective sort of thing correctly. I wrote it, but मेरा एक तो intention हमेशा था like before 12th only, like I used to follow this LinkedIn a lot. Even I mentioned the LinkedIn URL in your
resume. And that is always good. Always mention your LinkedIn profile link in your resume.
Correct.
Just because recruiter, they wanted to check your LinkedIn profile as well, after reading your resume. So that is always important.
So I mentioned the URL link of LinkedIn. Many people told me that it's not necessary.
But I also personally feel that I always wanted to see this kind of information in any resume. Okay, just because in the LinkedIn profile you can see that there are lots of other features as well, right?
Correct.
People will give a recommendation and they will write something about you as well. But all this information you cannot mention in the resume alone, right? In the single sheet. So it is important.
Yeah. And if you have a big picture of the resume, the recruiters can see the LinkedIn profile.
Yeah.
So this was the one of the point which I mentioned.
Okay.
And accordingly, the academic qualifications and all, which every as a college going student mentioned, the academic, the CGP, DGP, whatever. I understand doesn't matter whatever you achieve.
I like it. Okay.
It doesn't matter, but you should have a decent. Your decent CGPA should be there at least. The third part is you should mention the projects you have worked on it in your college career till date. For sure, you should go for, if you are in an undergraduate course of yours, you should go for internships. It's a major thing.
After third year, normally you have to do internship, and if you are not doing so, but try to fight and try to get some internship somewhere. Right. So, even though if they are not paying you also, don't mind taking that kind of opportunity as well, right?
Correct.
Don't look after money,
at the very
early stage of your career.
Money will be waiting for you at your footsteps when you.
Money is always waiting for the heart. There is no problem about it. If you have a GitHub account early in your life, let's say if you are doing lots of codes and the codes are there in the system, so instead of having a system, you can put all the codes in the GitHub and you can share the GitHub link.
Correct.
Obviously, the technical panel like me, if I see the GitHub, then the more happy things. Obviously, I can see your quotes, I can see your comments over there, so it's always good. They can mention the assignment as well.
Yeah,
because in the college life you will be getting various of assignments, right? And that is also, if you put all the assignment together, so that is moreover like a project as well, right?
Correct. Like we have various fests in our college. Every engineering college has fest and all, like the technical fest and all. So I think everyone participates in this and executes like the this one robotics and all, the robo making and various things are there in that. So we make small things, but it's a small thing at that period of time. We should not think that it's a small thing. We can mention it. I just want to add one more thing.
Okay.
Don't be every time technical. Go for something out of the box. Go for something management sort of thing. If you are interested, everyone is not interested, I understand, but something out of the box.
Extracurricular activities you're talking about, right? In short.
In short, extracurricular. But in short, if I tell something out of the box, like something for the society.
So actually, I remember one of my junior. So he was part of NCC in ID Chennai, right? So what he used to do, he used to go to nearby villages and he used to teach kids, kids over there, right? So this experience, he was doing the first year and second year all this work, right? So when he set for the campus placement, one company, Teach for India, had come for the campus placement. So obviously, that day I think he was in chemical engineering. Okay, so they didn't look into these areas, chemical engineering. They looked only this experience. Okay, you have done this teaching experience.
Correct.
And just because of that, he got a job in that. Okay, so that was it. So how was it? Like your first round of interview, how they started? Also, basically, first tell me that who has taken your face-to-face round?
Yeah.
Is the people, the employee of the Robert and Bosch, or the third party which you are talking about, right?
So in total, there were 2 rounds of interviews. The first round was a technical interview round. The second was the HR round.
Okay.
Both was like next. If you get shortlisted in the first, of course you can go for the second round. If someone is rejected, you pack your bag and go home.
Okay.
So first round was a technical interview round. I can start with the gist of the very starting day of the interview day. Employees from Robert Bosch, same Bangalore office, has visited the same institute for a short presentation. It was a very nice presentation of some, I guess, 15 minutes. In that they showed the gist of the company, whatever they work on, the products and all. They're working on in present, on what is their present future ideas and all. And various CSR activities they are involved in the company. Every company is involved in the CSR activities. So in just they showed a presentation. They were not very confined towards the presentation, they were just reading it out. More involving the interactive session sort of thing was there. That I liked a lot. And then after that, there were many HRs for sure. So I don't know the exact numbers and all. Many HRs have came and many technical persons from Robert Bosch have came for the interviews. And they set up three panels. They set up, and they initially they told that they didn't segregated any of the students. They just told at random, if you wish, you can come for the interview at the first slot only. So it's a common.
I will go.
I'll go. Shall I go? Shall I go? You'll go. If you go, then I'll go. You being my friend, if you go, then only I'll go. Common strategy होती है. तो मेरा तो डर लग नहीं. पहला राउंड में मैं नहीं जा रहा. मैं नहीं जा रहा.
अपन एक्सपीरियंस से सीखते हैं. You go first.
जाके आ, फिर बताना. But one added thing I want to just tell you, it's I find it very useful, I guess.
Okay.
Don't delay, you don't go at the very 5th, 6th or 7th panels. At least try for second, third. तुम सोचो कि मैं लास्ट में जाऊंगा तो क्या हो जाता है ना कि mostly the number of capacities they want to recruit.
By that time, they will already have their pre-mindset we have interviewed this many people, and
these
are maybe they'll internally they'll select this was
this was okay. Yeah, so they don't wait for the very last person to come.
Exactly.
So I went at the third panel.
Okay.
It was a 1-to-1 interview. I sat and then it started. So in short, it lasted for some 45 to 50 minutes. So initially he started with he saw my resume, but even again a small advice to you: don't expect the interviewer to read your resume. He will never ever, because he has ample of candidates waiting outside. If he starts reading each and everyone's the resume, he is not that interested for sure. And everyone's resume is more or less same only. Make him read your interview. Make him read your resume.
So how they can do it?
Like if
how
he
you
is
can enforce anybody to read your resume?
like if he is asking a certain question, try to link it to a practical scenario.
Okay.
Which is been implemented.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you have worked on a certain project and if he's asking a certain technical question related to certain domain, like if he asks me certain question, I want to elaborate it like digital electronics. For sure, it's a major important part of that interview. Digital electronics. He asked me like what is the difference between the SR flip flop and JK flip flop. These are flip flops and all, and then what are counters?
Okay.
What are multiplexers? And implement 32:1 multiplexer using 8:1 multiplexers.
Okay.
So these are questions he asked. So you tell the answer. You tell the answer, but by answering the question, you try to interpret that you have actually practically did it in some of your time back.
Okay.
And that you have written in your resume.
Like
I'm not telling every question.
Okay, so what are in terms of the questions? Questions. Okay.
Yeah.
Can you
for the interviews, like the technical interviews, mostly with subjects which are very important is like the communication system, the digital electronics, the analog electronics, the microcontrollers and the microprocessors.
Okay.
In digital electronics, I told some of the questions like this questions. They will be telling you to implement the multiplexers, 32:1 multiplexer using 8:1 multiplexer. If I come to the microprocessor and the microcontroller things, they will ask you very basic things. They will ask you like what is the use of the accumulator?
Okay.
What is the use of the accumulator? And 8051 microcontroller, how many pins are there?
Okay.
8055, how many pins are there? Can you draw the architecture? Which architecture does it follow? So like they will be asking you continuous questions. If he is asking a certain question, anyway we are not God. We are general students and everyone is like, okay, he's asking a certain question. If you don't know, don't try to make him fool. Like, yeah, this is the thing. It is not the thing. You simply tell, at this moment of time, I cannot recollect this thing.
Yeah.
In terms of microprocessor, microcontrollers, I told, be very thorough. They will ask you the architecture, the basic pins, the usage of various things. In the architecture, various things are there. The in-latch key, the clock, the counters, the basic uses of it, the real-life applications of it. They will be giving you to draw the wave diagrams, the frequency diagrams and all. Okay. So it is up to like if you can solve one thing, then they will ask you the other. If you get stuck at this moment of time, they will not continue. It's like that in that particular domain. Like if I tell the microprocessor part, if you can solve one question, then they will be giving a question related to that
field.
Otherwise,
they change it.
There were questions related to this control systems, like we studied, this state functions, the transfer functions. They will be telling you to derive some transfer functions. Block diagrams they will be giving you, like not very hi-fi, like a basic thing. They will giving you and they will tell you what's the transfer function of this.
Okay.
Like this, in control systems they ask this sort of things, and communication system is very important. Communication, the analog and the digital communication.
Principle of communications.
Yeah.
I think Fourier series is the
Fourier transform. Yeah, I forgot. Really, I forgot. Fourier series.
How I can forget that? I still don't remember what the hell was that. Fourier series.
Fourier series, Fourier transform. Yeah.
Fourier
That's
transform.
also important.
Okay.
Yeah. Fourier series are just after coming to corporate.
Obviously, it's been almost more than 10 years for me. But I still do remember, just because being a computer science engineer, we also studied a little bit about electrical electronics or POC. I have studied VLSI.
Yeah. Okay.
I've done my project in VLSI, BTech project.
Okay.
So was it moreover like a theoretical interview, or did they ask you to write something like in terms of code? Maybe iVerilog, VHDL code, something like that.
Yeah. Coming to this second round of it. This was at the departmental part. Then they came with the C part, the C coding round, coding part of sort of. They come with the are you versed with the C and the C++ coding and all. So it was a part of it started. So it like they initially gave a very easy code to write sort of. Write a C code to execute the Fibonacci series. Yeah. And these leap year and all. Yeah.
How to find out the leap year, right?
Leap year. Is it an odd number or even number? Number is an odd number, even number.
Yeah. Okay.
So the execution of the if-else statement, how you will be using the switch cases and all. The pointers is a major part. Pointers.
You are roaming around C and C++.
Pointer.
Most of the time you have to spend with the pointer.
Pointers,
right?
arrays, 2D array, 1D array, how to execute arrays and pointers in arrays in pointers.
They will play around with the pointer. It will completely screw your mind if you're not familiar with the pointer.
Correct.
So your pointer arrays is very important. You just try to hands-on more into this area.
Yeah. Then the third part, it started with the internships and all. This also I will be telling you frankly, it's a very, very important part of the full interview.
Yeah.
The final year project which everyone do, they will ask you, have you done it, or you will be doing it. So like I did the 2 of my projects, so I elaborated it very properly to him. Not I will be telling in a very technical or a very hi-fi coding that I did this coding, I use this language, this and that. But what is the real life application of that?
So it lasts around almost 45
to 50 minutes.
Yeah. Okay. Then so they will give the result immediately, and they'll ask you to wait for some couple of
hours. I will not tell you. See, the process is that they have a sheet like they attach to our resume, the resume which we handed to the technical interviewer. They have a sheet. They judge on various aspects. We will not be able to see for sure, but they are judging on a particular aspects according to our interviews, and they will be rating us simultaneously on various backgrounds, which I told you just now: departmental, coding, internships, real life application of projects, your way of talking and all. Even that matters at that moment of time. Many people think that it's the way of talking and the English. It's only a HR aspect. No. After my interview was done, I just greeted the interviewer and I left. But at this moment only, they will hand it over me a sheet. Like my technical round is clear. HR round was started. I greeted the HR. It started with my family and all, like who are there in my family and all. What's your father doing? How many siblings do you have? What's your background? Where are you coming from? This one is the basic questions. Then he started with the why Bosch? So common question. Why Bosch? I started telling like the same. Bosch is like, you can understand, it's a very automotive giant, and like it's like I will not be telling too much things. I told the same thing to the HR also, that I will not be telling like Bosch is this, that. Like we used to see from our very childhood, we used to see like if you are going to any of the malls and all. In home also, if you are seeing, like we used to use the drilling machines of Bosch. So the word we used to see, and if you get a chance to work in that company, हम लोग वो product use करते थे अपने बचपन में. After growing up, after 20 years, if you get a chance to work in that company, so
obviously that is kind of dream.
Yeah, it's a dream.
ये मैं देखते भी आ रहा हूँ, थोड़ा सा stable भी लग रहा है. That company is running for so long.
It's like, it's not like it's 132 years old company. So I told the same thing. I have been seeing this drilling machines. I have been seeing the security cameras in many of the malls. Written Bosch. So every time it fascinates me कि क्यों नहीं मैं work कर सकता हूँ. So if I came till here, so for sure it's a dream company for me also. So I told the same answer, why Bosch? So he was quite अच्छा लगा. He was okay, great. Then he told me one question like, is it your first interview, the HR? Then he told me one thing like, I think then it may be your last interview.
So he gave some kind of soft signal.
Yeah, soft signal. At that moment of time only he gave me a soft signal sort of.
Yeah, I just wanted to share this. One of my junior, right, in campus placement, the same question been asked by HR. Why this company? Okay. So what answer did he give? Yeah, I like your company and I can die for your company. Exactly. That was a statement. They like the energy level of that guy, right? So they immediately hired him.
He pays.
Yeah, he pays.
And then like he started with this every HR round, I guess if everyone is familiar, this sort of questions will be there. But you should again know copy paste, weakness, your strength, whatever is there in reality, you tell that thing. Don't start buttering the HR and tell anything which everyone is telling. If you have really some weakness, you tell like, I'm not comfortable in this thing. What is your he asked me what is your weakness. I told frankly that I trust people very easily. I told.
Yeah, that is also another point I wanted to add. Most other people, they will say just to impress HR, like, okay, I don't have weakness, I'm the right candidate for you.
Yeah.
Just hire me. But no, everyone has some weakness. They wanted to know about you more, so that if you have certain things which they have to handle in the future, handled in the sense they will get to know more about you, right?
Correct.
What is your strength, what is your weakness. So yeah, you should tell your weakness.
Correct. Yeah.
And everyone has some weakness. Come on.
Nobody's God.
Yeah, I know if any candidates told me like something like that, my weakness, I don't have any weakness and all. I simply said that go and find your weakness first, then come for the interview.
It cannot be possible only. Weakness is not that.
If you don't know about your weakness, you cannot grow eventually.
Correct. We learn from our weakness and our rejections and the wrong things which we do in our life.
Yeah.
We learn from that only. Chalo, if you're rejected also for a particular interview, we learn from there and we gain confidence to crack a bigger interview than that. I told the weakness, strength is my family. I told my family is my strength, and my strength is that I don't give up on things. I try my 100%, even if it is not going to happen, till the end point I try. I understand, chalo nahi ho payega, I understand, but मैं कैसे give up कर दूँ? This is my strength at this moment of time. If I tell, I try my level best.
And one more thing, interesting fact I wanted to say. Do not say. Actually, one time it happened that one guy, he said that okay, I will give my 1000%. You know what? The interviewer asked, is it possible to give 1000%? Is it possible? He said, yeah, more than 100% no one can give, and you also don't try to give 1000%.
No need.
Just because once you start give 1000%, then people will take it as in 100%, and they will expect the same thing
Every day.
Right?
They will take you as granted.
Yes, exactly. So you just mention your 100%, whatever you can do basically.
Third thing, if I tell, before attending any of the interviews, do some Google research, Google search of that company, background, the background in which company, the year of establishment, the president, who established the company, where is
about the history of the company basically.
Correct.
Even though if you are going for the Google, just Google about that Google.
Yeah, correct.
So that was it for the HR.
That was the questions from his end. I answered as I told. Then it was the last part which came any questions from your side.
Yeah.
So I will tell you purposely, please don't tell no as no questions.
Yeah.
It will pretend he just came for answering and he doesn't have. How it can be possible you don't have any questions?
Yes, exactly. Frankly speaking, if Rohit would have said that, okay, yeah, I said, no, I don't have any question, then I would have interrupted, here, and I would have said that, okay, no, yes, you should be asking some kind of question.
Some questions you should.
Just because whenever HR will ask you anything, just understand one thing that, okay, there is always purpose behind that. They will not simply ask, yeah, they're getting paid for their job. Obviously, every questions have some kind of weightage.
Correct.
Right? So do you remember that? Okay, what kind of questions did you ask?
Yeah, I do remember. I want to tell also as I told previously also in my interview experience that I am a bit closer toward this CSR activities from my college days only. I'm an active member of all these things. So I just asked as an inquisitive thing, sir, I saw the PPT presentation in the morning, and I just found a small thing the CSR activities Robert Bosch is involved in. Can you just please elaborate which are the CSR activities Bosch is involved in, and how much funding it is giving to the CSR activities, and how can I be a part of the CSR activities if I am recruited? I asked the same question. I told teacher,
and yeah, please do not try to ask this kind of question whether I'll get selected or not.
Directly, if you ask very silly.
Sometimes in hurry or in anxiety, whatever you can call it, in that condition, actually I've seen people, they'll ask. Forget about HR, they have asked me many times. Sir, so will I get shortlisted for the next round? Okay. I said, yeah, just wait for the. This is not my work, I have to give feedback to HR. Then HR will
it's not only independent on that particular person we are addressing.
Yeah,
it's a chain of people who
exactly. That just because it is not only we do check lots of stuff. So similarly, I'm pretty much sure that HR also will. HR will go and talk to the technical panel first. Yeah. Like, how was it? HR also will share, his or her feedback,
experience.
Right? Yeah, how was it? So you please, that is not your thing. Please do not ever ask such kind of questions to any HR or any technical.
Really, so this was it for the HR round also. It lasted for 20 to 25 minutes.
So then how was it? Then after that, when did you get the offer letter? Did you get the offer letter the same day?
The results were not declared on the same day. We reached our colleges, hostels on the 5th of September, Teachers' Day, and I was just sleeping. 5th of September, it was declared on 5th of September. They declared the results, not the offer letters.
So then after that, maybe some other day you would have got that offer letter.
Yeah, offer letter we received after some, actually on that particular day we received a mail, just a confirmation, but it was clearly mentioned that you will be receiving your offer letters prior to joining, some 2-3 months prior to joining.
Okay.
It was clearly mentioned over there. So you don't be panicking or rushing regarding this thing or put any of the people on mails or that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So it was very fixed from their end.
Joining date they would have mentioned, right?
No.
It was not mentioned.
Not mentioned.
Okay.
They just confirmation mail was there that you have been recruited for sure, but you will be getting your offer letter prior to joining. Yeah. So we received our offer letter some 6 months after our placements.
So yeah, I think we're almost done. Then Rohit, I think so. It was really a pleasure, meeting you, and thanks a lot. I think you gave so much inside information about, for the fresher especially, right? And one last thing. Do you want to give any kind of pro tips? Anything? It can be like related to the profession, or maybe from a reference side. Anything, right, from your end. Go ahead and
see. I'll tell you for sure, never ever judge yourself like you are not compatible for that particular company just by the namesake. Everyone is compatible in this world. Just it's the hard work of yours. Do try your best. You can achieve anything. It's not only Robert Bosch. I'm telling. There are a hell lot of opportunities waiting for you. Secondly, don't do over boasting. Maintain confidence, but overconfidence is not good. Okay. And thirdly, if I tell this is for freshers, I'm telling you, freshers, if you are if you are maintaining a decent scores from your past, then it's a good company for you. It's a very good company. It's a very, if I tell you the work-life balance at present, if I tell you it's 1 year from now, I never felt like it's 1 year completed. And really, if I tell you, even still, I feel like I'm a college-going student.
So apart from work, you have plenty of time to spend, time with your friends.
Correct. Right. Even the work atmosphere in the company is very cool.
Okay.
It's very cool. The people are quite friendly. They welcome the freshers with open arms, and they are ready.
Everyone. And yeah, Rohit. And one last thing about channel, kuch bolo.
Yeah, for sure, Mr. Rajiv. I want to. No, it's not like aisa nahi hai. I just want to thank Mr. Rajiv and the whole crew members for this interview, for selecting me, for sharing my experience, for the interview experience. I want to thank you. I want to thank AsappJobs for this. And if you please like this video, please do comment, like, and subscribe the channel. It's a pretty good channel, and you will be seeing a lot of stuff coming in the future.
Lot more interesting, lots of stuff.
Imagine, So just I'm not doing any advertisement. If you like, please subscribe, please like and please comment. And if even in future, if you want any help or guidance regarding this thing or anything other than this also in future, you can contact Mr. Rajiv or you can contact me.
And one more last point I wanted to add, as I always used to say to users, if in any case related to the career or related to the Bosch, if interview experience, if you wanted to have a discussion with Rohit, you can do that. We are going to mention Rohit profile in our description of this video.
Everyone is welcome every time. I'm available. Bye guys.
Stay tuned.